Right now, as you're watching this, there's a good chance you're trying to change someone. Maybe it's subtle a wish that your partner would just understand you better, that your friend would make wiser choices, that your colleague would finally see things your way. Here is the uncomfortable truth: that invisible project you reworking on the one where you retrying to fix, adjust, or improve the people around you is the very thing stealing your peace. What if I told you that every ounce of energy you spend trying to change others is energy stolen from your own freedom? Stay with me, because in the next 10 minutes, we're going to explore why letting people be exactly who they are might be the most powerful thing you'll ever do. We humans do something peculiar. We walk through life as amateur sculptors, constantly chiseling away at the people around us, convinced that peace will arrive the moment everyone behaves the way we think they should. Your spouse should be more affectionate. Your teenager should be more responsible. Your parents should finally understand you. Your friend should text back faster. We carry these blueprints in our minds, and then we wonder why reality keeps disappointing us. Here's what's really happening. You're not suffering because people are difficult. You're suffering because you're fighting a battle you were never meant to win. Think about it like this. Trying to control another person is like trying to straighten a river with a ruler. You might exhaust yourself completely, but the river, it'll just laugh, wiggle its way around your efforts, and flow exactly where it pleases. And there you'll stand, ruler snapped in half, finally realizing it wasn't the river causing your frustration. It was the ruler you insisted on using. Most of the tension in your chest right now doesn't come from what people are doing. It comes from the gap, that narrow, trembling space between what's happening and what you insist should be happening. That tiny gap is where all your disappointment lives. A tree doesn't wake up wishing it were taller. A wave doesn't scold another wave for curling too soon. This madness of trying to reshape reality, it belongs exclusively to us. Let's talk about why we do this. Why this obsession with changing others? It comes down to fear. Your ego is terrified that if people behave unpredictably, your world will slip through your fingers. If someone disapproves of you, your identity might collapse. If you can't control the story, you might get hurt by the ending. Control is the ego's shield against heartbreak. It's a bargaining strategy with life itself. But here is the problem. The ego tries to control others because it hasn't learned to understand itself. It says, I must change them so I don't have to face what's happening inside me. And so you tighten up. Try to adjust their words, soften their behavior, correct their flaws, as if the entire universe depends on your subtle management. But every attempt creates a quiet tension within you, a strain, a heaviness. You're not pushing against a door. You're pushing against a mountain. And mountains don't move because you scold them. People are not furniture to be arranged. They're not cushions on the sofa of your expectations. They're living rivers. And when you try to straighten them, you only succeed in exhausting yourself. The tension you feel isn't coming from what others are doing. It's coming from the simple fact that you're fighting reality. And reality, it has a marvelous sense of humor. It lets you wrestle until you're exhausted, and then one day you finally drop the rope and whisper, maybe I don't need to pull so hard. Only then does peace begin to bloom. Here's one of the most liberating truths you'll ever hear. People are who they are, not who you imagine they should be. Each person you meet is a unique expression of the universe, shaped by an entire history you know nothing about. Their childhood wounds, their hidden fears, their private longings, the timing of their experiences, thousands of unseen rivers running through their hearts. And you, standing there with your mental sketchbook, are trying to capture all that complexity in a neat little outline. To try to change someone is to fight against their entire past, their entire psychology, their entire being. You're not battling a habit. You're wrestling with the universe itself. And the universe doesn't tend to lose. This is why trying to fix people feels like pushing a mountain with your bare hands. They're not being stubborn. They're being exactly what life shaped them to be. Acceptance isn't passive resignation. It's clarity. It's seeing that every person is walking their own path, carrying their own karma, their own timing, their own lessons. You can't accelerate their awakening any more than you can hurry the sunrise. When you realize this, your heart softens. The pressure dissolves. You stop demanding and start witnessing. You begin to listen. You begin to understand. And in that understanding, there's a great peace that comes from no longer fighting the nature of things. Now here's the beautiful paradox, one of life's most delicious puzzles. People only change when they feel safe, and they only feel safe when you stop forcing them. The moment you drop the pressure, the moment you release the expectation, the moment you let them be as they are, something extraordinary opens between you. Safety is the soil in which transformation naturally grows, not pressure, not persuasion, not emotional force. Watch a flower long enough, and you'll notice it never blooms faster because someone begged it to. It opens when the conditions are right. Humans bloom the same way. You can't choose their season of growth. You can't rush their unfolding. You can't bend their branches into the shape you think is most beautiful. When you let go, people feel lighter around you. The air becomes more spacious. There is no longer a silent pressure for them to perform a version of themselves that fits your comfort. And ironically, beautifully, they grow far more quickly than when you were trying to coach them. Because growth isn't a reaction to pressure. It's a blossoming in the presence of freedom. Letting go isn't indifference. It's respect. It's trust. It's recognizing that the same intelligence guiding your life is also guiding theirs. Peace isn't found by altering others. It's found by releasing the illusion that you ever could. Think of all the energy you've poured into shaping people, trying to adjust their attitudes, polish their habits, convince them of things they weren't meant to understand yet. All that effort was never a path to peace. It was a detour leading you away from your own center. When you finally let people be who they are, you return to a place inside yourself that you've been absent from. And in that return, something extraordinary happens. You begin to breathe again. Freedom doesn't come when the world cooperates with you. Freedom emerges when you stop wrestling with what you can't control. Let everyone be who they are, and let yourself be free. You can't control the tides, but you can learn to ride them. You can't instruct the stars, but you can marvel at their glow. You can't dictate the seasons, but you can live beautifully within them. What you can do is meet people where they are, love them for who they are, and walk your own path with honesty and grace. There's a magnificent peace waiting for you, not in the world, not in the behavior of others, but in the gentle release of your inner resistance. So walk gently now, with a heart unburdened, with hands that no longer cling. Let the river flow. Let people unfold in their own time, and let yourself be free.